Greetings YouTube, this is BJ Black, and you're watching my part 18 of my Let's Play of Moonless Quest Paradox RPG. Today we're heading all the way over here to the village of Magistea. Here there appears to be a regional governor named Lily. The village grew to recognize the Sara. But apparently there's been some misunderstanding. And I guess she right away admits that they're doing some suspicious magic research. But assessing it like that is a form of prejudice against them, because the magic in question is, well, forbidden. Mostly they're just complaining that we're coming to a judgment too soon. So I was going to explain why that she isn't here because of prejudice. Her main problem is whether the people are being forced down or not. Well, the greedy decides to point us towards Lily. Elias has already decided she wants to beat Lily down. But it seems like a pretty complicated situation. And then there's also the possibility that if we beat down this governor of the area, someone just like them would take their place. Oh, Elias has a solution to this. If someone will follow up on her will, you just need to beat them down too. Destroy them all until the very roots are gone, and then the problem will be gone. Well, if Elias were a king, her country would be under a hell of a fearful government. Oh, someone's surprised they be judged for once. In any case, we're going to go talk to Lily. This is the kind of thing that's happened in the village lately. This is one of the village girls who has been given power by Lily. She is thankful for it. And this is Lily. Lily Maestro. So yeah, we get to talk to her. Sarah says she's sorry, but she's going to get directly to the main topic. Sarah's probably the only one who's sorry. So there's a problem in the fact that the men of the village have been killed. Executed, rather. Well, yes, we certainly heard from the village people. Actually, we didn't, but Lily's going to explain it anyway. The men of this village were violent and abusive of the women here. The situation was so bad that most of the women actually died before reaching the age of 20. And what they needed was power. The power to protect themselves. Well, however it turns out, Sarah says that it was vigilantism, and that is opposed to the proper running of a kingdom. Here Lily questions whether the government actually did something on their behalf. It got to the point where the average age of the men was 30 years older than the average age of the women. So, Lily is questioning whether the central government ever did anything, for whether they understood the situation or merely did nothing. Here Sarah explains that the constitution of the Sabbath government prevented the central government from interfering in regional policies. It'd be unconstitutional for them to interfere. Lily continues to complain about it. Now she goes into some details about how the women were oppressed. Let's see, being shut up in their homes, forbidden to go outside, and basically forced to endure violence. As the daughter of the previous territorial governor, she wasn't exactly given free rein either. Quite the opposite. She felt like a living sacrifice. In the end, she says, the law ultimately only protected slavery. What she and her collaborators wanted was only the power to break free of their conditions. Something left in this mansion, the shokumado, or tentacle magic, it might be called, she found a book of. She studied it herself and gained this power. Finally, she was able to save the women of the village. Sarah here decides that she will extend a hand and offer amnesty to them. Well, she would like to, however, she is not given that authority by law. And Lily points out that she doesn't have any particular sovereign rights, seeing as she's retired from the throne already and given power to the Parliament. She is basically no more than a commoner now. And Sarah does have to admit that. As regards the massacre of the men of the village, what Lily claims to have done is only given power away, and the women of the village just acted on their own from that point on. Acting on their own will, they overturned the situation in order to protect their own lives, there being no other choice. Sarah believes that the killing was nevertheless excessive, and it's only natural at this point that other areas would doubt some of the events here. Lily attests that the law will not be able to they won't be able to prosecute her as they don't have standing proof. And here she points out that where before the central government's stance of not interfering in regional policies allowed the slavery thing to continue, at this point, since the central government has that policy, they can't interfere at this point either. Just like the late king was unable to save them before, now the central government is powerless. The law the central government follows is on her side. And yes, it appears that she won't be prosecuted for any problems up to now. But Sarah would like to talk about what happens next. She would like the events in the village to be presented transparently, and judged, apparently in the court of public opinion, if not in a proper court. Yeah, Lily's been kind of harsh on Sara, and Ilias calls her out on that. Basically, you'd need to be a god to have been able to fix this easily. So moving right along, is there anything Lily could speak to travelers like ourselves, traveling heroes even? Ah yes, she does propose an exchange. As we know, there's been some rebellion going on. A mage named Lucia has aroused a force, and they've come to blows with Lily's forces. Lily's goal is to spread this tentacle magic throughout the world, and Lucia wants to prevent that. Lucia used to be Lily's comrade, but since they succeeded in taking this town, Lucia's goals have changed. And she now believes that this power they used is dangerous. Just the other day they came into outright warfare, although it's quiet now. But at this point she would like us to defeat Lucia for her. So in exchange for this defeat of the enemy leader, she will agree to come with us on our journey. You see, she wants to leave this village as well. In the world, there are still many oppressed peoples. Because they don't hold power, they're overpowered by others. It's even a danger to their life being in their situations. She asks if we can hear them. The screams of the people who are in those situations. She can. She hears their pleads for rescue and pleads for power. They too want to overturn their situation, and the tentacle magic will give them the power to do that. You want to go on a journey to save the oppressed. Really now. Of course, don't you? Lily can hear them. The crying voices of the children. And the people crying out in pain and suffering and such. She asks if we can't hear them. Over there, and over there. They're crying. They're all crying, aren't they? So she wants to give power away until she can't hear these crying voices anymore. Are you thinking what Luke is thinking? I think we're all thinking what Luke is thinking. She wants to save all the crying people of the world. And that's why she wants to leave the village. But as long as Lucia is here, she's kind of held in check. So she can't leave. So she requests our help in beating Lucia. Our goal to save the world, after all, is kind of the same. We don't have to kill Lucia, we just have to shut her up. Just quiet her down enough that she can't disturb the peace of the village. Elias assesses that she's speaking the truth. What's Luca going to choose? Sara asks Luca's opinion too. This first one we agree to it. The second one we not only don't agree, but we decide to beat Lily. Here we don't agree to it and we let Lily go. And this one is we think about it some more. Ultimately all the ones but the second are the same. Oh. I guess if we formally reject the deal without saying that you'll kill Lucia, she takes the deal as rejected and runs away. Yep, she headed back into her mansion. Now, we didn't say we would beat up Lily, but I guess if we aren't just going to agree flat out, she is not interested. Well, Lily isn't simply a marauder. She really believes in what she's trying to do. So the situation's kind of complicated. As for the voices, they are probably Lily's own voice. Here we speculate that rather than the weak people of the world, the person she needs to save is herself. And now, having spoken to ourselves enough, a mage teleports in, speaks to us. This is one of Lucia's helpers, and she would like to invite us over to Lucia's place to speak on the topic. Tells us where to find Lucia and disappears. So now we can make contact with the rebel forces and see what they have to say. And we can make a decision after speaking to them. Check it out, it's a monster girl. She's sympathetic to the cause. She's also taking money, but she's sympathetic to the cause. You ever hear of this new invention that came up with recently? They're called clothes. Anyway, this is Lucia, leader of the resistance forces. Sonia can feel magic energy coming out of her arms. So yes, Lucia is also an enhanced person, let's say. She studied with Lily on the topic of dealing with the men of the village. Her specialty was alchemy. And now they've gotten to the point where she wants to defeat Lily instead. Lucia explains that trying to spread the tentacle magic about will only disorder the world. It's better it remains a secret technique. It's true that the oppressed people can gain power by it, and with it they can topple their situation. And it was truly tragic what was happening in this village. And there were many needless sacrifices. Lucia herself was also a victim in the situation. But if the tentacle magic techniques were to be spread, The conclusion here in this village would be replayed here and there throughout the world. In fact, it could be even worse. If those who are weak act out in anger and retribution towards those who are strong, it will actually create the worst possible situation. It's not so simple as to simply swap the positions of the weak and the strong. With that, the only result will be to create the new strong parties. And they in turn will oppress the new weak parties, who were formerly strong. Elias agrees that this sort of thing should not be spread out willy-nilly, but managed properly. And Sarah agrees as well. She feels that this kind of power could lead to a cause of war. So, Lucia gets to the point. She would like us to defeat Lily for her. We don't need to kill her, just need to seal her powers. At that point, the Resistance's duties will be ended. She can step down as leader and join our party. She too would like to wander around the world seeing things. So we can agree to her deal, disagree to the deal, or think about it some more. We're going to disagree and beat Lucia up instead. So she's going to be waiting in the magic tower. And before we leave, we're going to grab a couple of small coins, small medals. The first one is in this house. This set of dressers has it. And actually, it's convenient that Lily went and locked herself up in her mansion, because once she's in this state, you can follow her into the depths. Whereas if she did not retreat back there, you would not be able to pass the front doors. Well, the second set of doors there, rather than the front door. And back here is our second small medal. You remember there are pots that have items in them? There are also pots that are traps. They start appearing in this dungeon. This monster is called the honey pot. Occasionally they drop small medals as well. The mimics do too, but in both cases they're very rare drops. Now, we've gotten a lot of medals, so we're going to change them in for something else. The medal queen will inform us we have 32 medals right now, so we can go for the title of royalty. With this we can become the king job class. Before getting to there, you have to master the warrior and the noble classes. We get a couple of items. The first one's a key item that says we can become a king, and the second one is just a helmet. And that's all with her now. She doesn't explain it, but you can also change to the Pope class if you master Noble and Priest. So we got what we wanted out of there. Let's head back to Magistea. And the magic tower where Lucia hides out is here. Yeah, while we're here, Lucia's forces will attack us. Not only human forces, but some monsters that she has employed. Speaking of monsters she's employed, these are the 3 types of monsters regular monsters you'll encounter in this tower. The small Oni. These girls are having lunch right now, so this one will give you a tempura if you talk to her. The 3 of them will explain they've been hired to do guard work and various fightings. This is the nurse succubus. Since there are a lot of wounded people in a war, she's got good work. And this is a slime. A powered up slime. And they're all just enjoying their meal. Whoops. This place is a pretty good maze if you don't know where you're going. Here's another small metal. And this should be the way to get to Lucia. Yep, here she is. Yes, we really did follow you this far. She says again that Lily's ambition is worse than we imagine. And giving power to the weak will only cause them to become strong and repeat the cycle from a different angle. She even accuses this particular power of making the tragedy even stronger. Again, she says that this power should not be spread about the world. It's not that they're trying to monopolize it, they're trying to manage it better. She says here that ultimately power cannot save the weak. It only changes the balance of power. It doesn't change the underlying character of the situation. Elias agrees. So one last time she would like to ask us if we'll reconsider. Do this for her or do this to her. Well, whatever. Nobody's actually voted for one or the other of these two, so I'm just going to defeat Lucia. And she collapses with regret. And being beaten up this one more, she won't be able to activate her powers anymore, apparently. Elias still says that she disagrees with this outcome. Luca finally gets it up to actually explain why he's made this choice, although it's a pretty bad reason. You know, it's kind of a fragment of a good reason. The tentacle magic did manage to save the women of the village. And since it was a power that saved them, it shouldn't be simply sealed up. So, let's go back to Lily. And now Lily's retired from her spot in the depths of her mansion to come here. She thanks us and regrets that Lucia had to be put down because she was, after all, her first ally in this. Well, enough about her past. Now she's going to join our party. She talks some more about wanting to save the oppressed. Oh, and the voices she hears. Alright, we're going to replace Saki with her because we have some events to go view. Sonia feels like there's been a mistake. Like Luca making a mistake as well. Well, Luca expresses his opinion that going on a journey will change her as well. And it's not exactly good to have her shut up in this village forever. In any case, the events in this village have been solved, so we get to talk about where we're going next. We can do Nome, but Sonia suggests we head to Sarun. There we can get some crystal weaponry. Edith agrees that that's a good path to take as well, but leaves it up to Luca's judgment. To get to Saloon, we head north from Sapasa, north out of Grandul, past the Safara ruins, and north a bit further, and just hang a right once you hit the ocean. There should be a smith there that can make crystal weaponry for us. And before going and meeting with Nome, we can get at that. Whoops. Apparently a free escape will get you out of Lily's castle. But before we head out, here we have the usual complainants and Lily. Now that we've recruited her into our party, she has something that she would like to research. You remember the Lite village? The one that got attacked by the Succubi sisters and everybody was killed in? She heard about that, and in fact, if you had asked around town before that event, the Succubus Sisters event, there was one girl who was holding an invitation from Lily. But ultimately, whether she acted on it or not, the village is gone now. So Lily is concerned about the women there being oppressed as well. Well, before the attack. So we get to go check that out. Lite village. Here we can go into the various houses and Lily will talk about what she sees and what she senses. Apparently this village was also pretty patronistic. Lily says she would have liked to kill all the men in this village. But she does sense or questions whether the girls of the village were killed. she doesn't sense that after effect. But it's true. But it's also true that no survivors have been found. All right then, let's investigate another house. That one's the church, and Lily doesn't have anything to say there. I would think that Lily would have something to say up here, but she doesn't. This is the mayor type guy's place. And while the village itself was largely poor on account of being economically cut off from everybody, living autarkically, the mayor and his wife were fairly well off. Now, anyway, Lily assesses that the girls that lived here were not killed. She gets no sense of their essence being sucked from them. Lily has that power herself, so she kind of understands the after effects. So if the village girls are alive, where are they? She would like to... Lily doesn't know yet, so she would like to investigate more. Do you remember this house? Here, the daughter of the wrote on here nice things about the village. Recently, however, she is taken to jotting down die, 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 die. Lily, bizarrely, says she's glad that the girl's wish came true. And here too, she doesn't get the feeling that anybody's essence was drawn out by the succubi. Here she speculates that the three succubi may have taken the girls with them. But we don't have any final results, so we could search another house. I believe it's this one. And now Lily has finally got scent of what happened here. She feels the after effects of transportation magic. So the women of the town were transported somewhere. By the three succubi? And to what purpose? We don't know. But the fact is, we have learned an interesting clue. They were taken alive somewhere. Lily here regrets the poor girls being taken out of hell, however, to be delivered up to those, to be kidnapped by those succubi. And as her rage boils over, she gains a new power. This is the ability Heavy Magic. May as well take a look at what that does. Lily vows to save them. She'll go through hell or whatever to do it. She is kind of mentally unstable, yeah. But this is the end of the clues we'll find. But eventually we'll track them down later in our journey. And just because I'm curious, the ability she just learned was this one, Heavy Magic. This doubles the magic consumption of her skills, but makes them 50% more powerful. Sounds good if you've got a lot of magic to spare. And that will cover us for today. Tomorrow we're going to do the village of Saloon, as well as the Safare ruins. So, hope you enjoyed.